One of the most important aspects of a cardistry video is how the moves are filmed. When you have someone behind the camera, this is an opportunity for the viewer to see your moves at all the right angles, and you should absolutely be taking advantage of that if you're not already. Hey everybody, it's Connor again, and today I would like to discuss an overlooked aspect of cardistry videos: camera movement. Now, before I begin, I understand that not everybody will always have someone else to film them, let alone another cardist. Some of these tips will still apply to those using tripods, but we'll go into static filming a little more in depth in a future video. For those of you that do have the opportunity to either film or be filmed by another cardist, whether that's at a local meetup or you have a friend nearby, this video is for you. I want to start off by looking at some examples of good filming and then breaking down why they work so well. In my opinion, and in the opinion of many other cardists, Kyle Tran is one of the best cardistry videographers out there. I've had the chance to hang out and film with Kyle before, and if it's not obvious from the videos he makes that he has an eye for cardistry, it certainly is behind the scenes. What Kyle does so well is he recognizes the best angle for each moment in the flourish. Each movement is typically planned and choreographed. It takes a few minutes to find the best angles, but once he has those down, he'll move the camera to those angles at the specific points in the flourish. For example, let's say that a move is best viewed from a top-down angle in the beginning, but develops into a display that is best viewed from the left side. As the videographer, you would start with the camera in that top-down angle, but as the cardist transitions into the display, quickly move the camera to that left side so you can capture the best angle for it. If the cardist messes up or wants another take, you simply move the camera back to that same starting location and go through the same angle transitions as the cardist performs the move. An important consideration here is the speed at which you move the camera. Personally, I try to make my camera movements match the speed and style of the move. If the move is flashy or performed quickly, then snappy, precise camera movements might be the best to highlight that. This is actually how I often find myself filming cardistry moves, as it helps ensure that the viewer gets the best angle at each point in the flourish. However, if the move is slow and rhythmic, it might be better to have some slow panning motions of the camera to help emphasize that theme. As an example, Dom's move Tesla, while not very slow, has some very rhythmic motions. Because of this, one of the best angles to film his move at in its entirety is a slow panning top-down angle. This helps highlight the theme of the move and its repetitive elements, which help make it so interesting. But it is important to consider your options, as another great angle to film this move at is using a rocking motion back and forth from a front angle. But this can be a bit difficult as it requires the videographer to move the camera back and forth at a specific time that Dom repeatedly pushes a packet forward in the move. An extreme example of all of this is actually some of the best filming that's ever been done in a cardistry video, and it wasn't even done by someone holding the camera. In fact, it was done by a robot. In the video Rise by the Verts, they actually had a pre-programmed robot arm that locked into specific angles wherever they wanted the moves filmed at. Here's a behind-the-scenes look at how it worked. Since the Verts wanted super slow motion, they programmed the arm to move very quickly between their movements. This allowed for that camera movement to still be visible after they slowed everything down in post-production. The result was nothing short of beautiful, and in a way, that's what I'm trying to replicate when I film my own cardistry videos. Now, not exactly at the same speed as that robot arm, of course, but generally having a plan for what angles I want the move to be viewed at, and then limiting that in-between time that it takes for me to move the camera to those different angles. But how do you know what the best angles are? I mean, it's not like when you create a flourish, it comes with a little slip telling you the best angles for each moment. Well, really, it all just comes down to experimentation. Sometimes I'll spend the first 5 to 10 minutes just looking at the flourish through the camera from different angles. I'll try from different side angles, and maybe the left side works best for the end of the move. Then I'll try out a different angle, perhaps the top works best for the beginning. Then I'll look around for some other angles that work best for the middle portion. Then, with all of this in mind, I'll map out a plan to move the camera as the flourish progresses. And it doesn't always have to be a beginning, middle, and an end. It could be a shorter move that works best from 1 or 2 angles, or perhaps it's a longer, intricate move that works best from 4 different angles. It really all just depends on the move. Occasionally, I'll just ask the cardist what they think the best angles are. I mean, it is their move. They've likely seen the move performed from a variety of angles, whether that's just their own perspective when they're practicing, or filming themselves, or watching themselves in the mirror. Something else I'd like to mention is camera rotation. By this, I simply mean the movement of your hands that rotate the camera in either a clockwise or counterclockwise fashion. This movement looks really cool when done well, but you do have to be careful with it. If you do it too much or without purpose, you might leave your viewer feeling a bit sick. But of course, as with everything in Cardistry, you are free to use your own stylistic choice whenever you're creating. For example, Oliver Silgard pushed the boundaries of these camera rotations in his video Artificial Intelligence with some extreme, nearly 360-degree camera rotations at certain points. In his case, it worked quite well. He was using the rotation of the camera to follow the rotation of a packet, so everything was done quite purposefully. In fact, some of the biggest mistakes I see people make when they're filming Cardistry is not being purposeful, either using flowy, nonchalant movements that don't match up with the flourish, or rotating the camera at a seemingly random point in the move. In my opinion, you should let your flourish dictate how you move the camera, and you should move it with purpose. Thank you all for watching. I hope you got something useful out of this. If you enjoy this type of content, we've got some more tips and tricks for you right there. And until next time, happy filming.